Well, welcome everyone. Today we're diving into a fascinating and slightly provocative question. Are our clever AI tools poised to step in and take the lead in deciding and evaluating how we change behaviour? Think of it as a dance between algorithms and intuition, a friendly rivalry to see who can best understand the intricate steps of human interaction. On one side, we have the proponents of AI, who might paint a picture of sleek, efficient systems capable of analysing data with lightning speed and crafting perfectly tailored interventions. They'll likely highlight the potential for unbiased insights and hyper-personalised approaches. On the other side, we have those who champion the human element, emphasising the importance of empathy, lived experience, and the subtle art of understanding the human heart, something that can't be coded into an algorithm. They might argue that behaviour change is about connection, creativity, and a deep understanding of context that only a fellow human can truly offer. My role today is to be your guide through this intellectual exploration, ensuring a balanced discussion, a touch of humour, and hopefully some aha moments along the way. So we'll open the floor and see what emerges when these two powerful forces meet. So let me introduce our speakers. We'll start with the affirmative. We actually have a substitute. So our original speaker, Rob Hudson, was unfortunately called to the UK on the illness of a family member. And we've graciously had a substitute of great renown, Dr. Ryan Payne, who is the Director of the Canberra Behavioural Lab at University of Canberra. His research explores the intersection of adaptive technology and consumer behaviour, with particular focus on how biometric tracking, privacy and online profiling influence behavioural outcomes. With a multidisciplinary background spanning marketing, fashion and technology, Ryan investigates how AI systems can disrupt traditional consumer behaviour paradigms. His doctoral research examined how adaptive technologies based on microfacial tracking can be leveraged to create meaningful behavioural change, while also addressing ethical considerations around data privacy and consumer autonomy. Our second speaker for the affirmative is Professor Joy Parkinson, who is the Associate Dean, Research and Enterprise at Australian Catholic University. Before joining ACU in July 2023, she was a principal research scientist in the implementation science team at CSIRO's Australian's eHealth Research Centre. Her research is grounded in implementation science, focusing on designing, implementing and evaluating large-scale partner-funded behaviour change programs. She works collaboratively across a range of disciplines to translate evidence into practice, ensuring interventions are effectively adopted, scaled and sustained. Her work has led to long-term industry partnerships with organisations such as Diabetes Queensland and the Stroke Foundation, and she's also the Editor-in-Chief of Health Marketing Quarterly. Speakers for the negative: Kathy Benson, Director, Behavioural Economics and Research, Department of the Premier and Cabinet, Queensland Government. Kathy is a behavioural insight researcher who is passionate about understanding the psychology of human decision-making, choices and actions. Kathy leads a multidisciplinary team that tests and applies insights from behavioural economics to improve policy outcomes and deliver better services to Queenslanders. With more than 30 years' experience, Kathy is proficient in behavioural insights, applied research, workshop facilitation and program implementation. And her skills include optimising policy program and service effectiveness and human-centred design. And then our final speaker, who will be for the negative, is Carolyn Loton, who is the Director of Juntos Marketing. Carolyn is an experienced practitioner committed to achieving tangible behaviour change through the effective application of social marketing principles, insight-led initiatives and strategic thinking. She leads B Corp certified content and marketing agency Juntos Marketing, whose purpose is marketing for good, and research agency Leapfrog Research. Her and her team's integrated social marketing campaigns have won multiple respected national social marketing and purpose-led awards, primarily in the health sector. So each speaker will have 5 minutes, which includes rebuttal. When the timer goes, the speaker must stop. Now at the end, we'll have a Q&A panel, and then you'll have a chance to vote for whose argument do you think was the most compelling. So without further ado, I welcome our first speaker to for the affirmative to the stage.
I think I'm just going to use this guy. I'll give that back to you. Thanks. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, fellow speakers, my fellow debaters, the judges, and those just trying to connect to the Wi-Fi. My name is Dr. Ryan Payne, and today alongside my teammate, Associate Dean Joy Parkinson, we stand in firmly of the positive, or the use of AI, with the motion, AI tools are a replacement for humans in designing and evaluating human behavior and change programs and campaigns. Now, we have an advantage because computer systems are actually already doing this. So if you look at it, we already use them in social media campaigns, online advertising, algorithm predictions, and other things going forward. So, I mean, part of me would just want to drop the mic and be like, see, we're done. But this is a debate, so we have to have a little bit more. So in the debate, I'm going to outline 3 different things. First, AI outperforms humans in making critical mechanics of behavioral change, not only in the design, but especially in the evaluation. So this is pattern recognition, predictions, and adaptation in live time. The second is that AI delivers solutions at speed and scale that humans just can't compete with. I think anybody who remembers when Excel first came out, adding 3 columns together, and now Excel has become large language models like ChatGPT. The scale in which it can produce such information, a human's struggling to compare. Finally, AI actually does reduce human bias and error. This isn't that it already exists inside of the AI system algorithm, but it allows for a lot more equitable and effective interventions because the AI biases that exist are the ones that are programmed where the training data comes from. So this is something we already automatically fail at ourselves because we have a lot of inherent biases and we may not realize them. So, to start off with, AI doesn't sleep, it doesn't eat, and it doesn't show up to your team meeting 5 minutes late because they're so busy. Oh my gosh. AI is always ready and it's always learning. Evaluating change behavior is to understand patterns. It's predicting outcomes, and it's really just optimizing interventions. These are things not unique to human activities, but like dad jokes and adjusting government budgets, they're things that we as humans struggle sometimes to do well. They're data-driven, they are model-based, and they're increasingly best handled by systems that can do it faster and more consistently and more objectively. Yes, this is like a large language model, or you could think of it as just a basic algorithm. This isn't science fiction. I'm not going to say we're going to have Jarvis be running everything. Instead of science fiction, it's science functioning better than maybe we do Monday morning without a coffee. Okay? AI can tailor a message for the Gen Z, boomers, and that weird demographic that uses Facebook unironically. It can also create A/B testing of words, messages faster than we can say default bias, and it's not going to get mad and it's not going to override when it finds out that option A actually was the best one over B. More so, it'll continue to test over and over perpetually until it finds the right wording, right color, right systems, right things. The shade of yellow on Amazon is a specific shade designed to get 0.017% more clicks. That's roughly $527,000 every hour more. It's subtle, but the shade of yellow on your monitor is adapted to each monitor. Yes. Speed and scale is the second factor. AI isn't here to collaborate. They're not going to have weeks and weeks of meetings. They're here to optimize, personalize, and deliver quicker than you can pretty much argue about the shade of blue that inspires trust, especially in the banking systems. So yes, AI is a replacement, and I'm advocating for that. Not because humans are bad, but because humans are slow, emotional, not at this conference, but sometimes really hungry, and occasionally we're watching cat videos or getting distracted on the side while we're doing this. Third, and most crucially, AI actually has much of the invisible bias that we don't recognize. even trained behavioral scientists and marketers are influenced by unconscious bias, outdated heuristics, and cultural framing. I know. AI models, when properly trained, can actually correct for this bias, detect patterns that we might not recognize exist, such as those who love cats jumping on things or those in cats of bags of things. And it can also democratically and figure out what kind of person insights are they looking at and why they're looking at them, and customize the messaging to match the message with the person's value structures. So now you'll likely hear from the other side in the negatives that, there's need for empathy, there's need for value, there's need for judgment, blah, 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 blah. But with my last few seconds here, what I wanted to highlight that this is already taking place. Humans, we get distracted. We fall on things with slogans like laugh, love, lunge, which is my favorite. We love them way too much. But I'm saying, you know what? Let's, as man, be involved in saying the GPS, but let's let the machine take us there. Good intentions open the door, but execution gets the results.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so AI tools, first of all, your honourable adjudicator, esteemed opponents and valued audience. AI tools are a replacement for humans, a bold statement indeed. Firstly, I draw your attention to the term replacement, which according to AI itself, refers to the act of substituting one thing completely for another, or the process of taking the place of something or someone, which typically occurs when something is broken or worn out, missing, damaged, or redundant. I ask you, are we human beings broken, worn out, missing, damaged, or redundant? I think not. Now, the second point I'd like to make is about using the word are, obviously present tense, which implies that replacement is currently happening, which clearly it is not happening now, and it won't be happening anytime soon, and I will tell you why. But colleagues, unlike the affirmative team, I'm not going to continue to torture you with tedious definitions and boring facts. I have 2 words for you and 1 picture. My 2 words, bounded rationality. And this picture, my friends, is bounded rationality. And bounded rationality is the human being in all its irrational, biased, and flawed glory. As a behavioural insights practitioner, I am here to tell you that there is one thing about humans that AI cannot replace, will not replace, and quite simply renders the aforementioned statement untrue under all circumstances. And that is, well, humans are a little bit stupid. So despite being the superior species on this earth, the human being will time and time again choose to satisfy rather than optimise. The opposing team has made some logical and rational, although a bit dreary, points, but they are thinking like economists, not like behavioural economists. Quite simply, they have forgotten that they are talking about Homo sapiens and not Homo economicus. They have forgotten about bounded rationality, and don't get me started on loss aversion, status quo effect, psychological inertia and familiarity bias, or any of the other multitudes of behavioural science principles that support my argument. Quite simply, history has shown that human beings notoriously prefer the current state of affairs, the daily business as usual, the routine and ritual over change, even if it is change for the better. Throughout history, humanity has had its fair share of facepalm moments regarding the adoption of new technologies. I can give you a multitude of examples of humans' resistance to technological advancements. However, unfortunately, time will not allow for this today. Suffice to say, if the ancient Greeks and Romans had have embraced the rudimentary form of steam engine created in the 1st century AD, perhaps the Industrial Revolution could have begun a millennium earlier. The history books are littered with examples like these. The round wheel, my friends, is AI, a superior tool, an enhanced alternative. Well, time will tell, and let me emphasise the word time. Because yes, dear colleagues, time Humans can't change rapidly unless there is a crisis or a pandemic. And that has been proven time and time again. Folks, it seems to me that in order for AI tools to replace humans, AI will need to organise for AI to replace humans, because if you leave it to the humans, it could take centuries. But friends, let's get back to the main point of this debate, which is the use of AI in replacing humans in the realm of behaviour change. When it comes to understanding the depths of human behaviour, I dare say we are dealing with a league so extraordinary that not even the most sophisticated algorithm can unpack the enigma that is the human. The marvel of human perception, the nuances, the empathy. Yes, the affirmative did say that I would say this, but it is because it is true. And yes, humans have bias. Of course we have bias. But so does AI. It has its own bias, and it probably has the biases of the people who created the AI in the first place. Do we really want to leave these complexities and subtleties to a trumped-up calculator to decipher? As the saying goes, it takes one to know one. And if none of this has convinced you, let me just finish with a story about my friend Dave, who invited us over one fine evening to share his latest magnificent tech device. And he gathers us in the living room for a grand demonstration. Watch this, he says with a wink, ready to show off his modern marvel. Alexa, turn on the lights. Silence. Undeterred, he tries again. Alexa, make it cooler in here. We wait, but nothing. Alexa, play some music, says Dave. Again, nothing. Eventually it dawns on him. In his excitement, he had forgotten to plug Alexa in. So, the moral of this story, dear audience, is that while humans don't need to be plugged into a wall socket, we remain utterly irreplaceable.
Okay, and because we're doing this as a debate light, we go straight to the closing arguments. So I invite Professor Joy Parkinson to step up and give us her rebuttal and closing argument.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Adjudicator, and thank you also to my poor learned colleagues on the negative team. So let's be honest, their main arguments boil down to this. Humans have heart. AI is cold. Don't let the robots take our jobs. Let me go to their point about replacement. All humans need to work, so it's not just a replacement. You know, airplanes need runways, but we don't go around thanking the tarmac for getting us to Bali. Yep, empathy. We knew they'd be talking about empathy. Empathy's really nice. But designing for behaviour change, it's not therapy, it's strategy. Humans feel the problem. AI fixes it. Let's not confuse warmth with effectiveness. AI doesn't need to understand feelings. It models patterns. What works, for whom, and in what context. That's why AI is now powering personalised mental health chatbots, predictive relapse models, and tailored behaviour nudges that outperform traditional counselling methods in large-scale settings. And frankly, human empathy hasn't always served us well. We've seen well-intentioned campaigns fail, or worse, reinforce bias because they were based on assumptions, not data. And just going to, some of the other points that my learned colleague has raised, AI, may not have, emotional intelligence, but it doesn't always help when your campaign's failing and you need a brutally honest dashboard, not a group hug. There's plenty of things that have worked well and plenty of things that haven't worked well as well. AI can't evaluate complex human change. All we've heard from our learned colleagues on the negative team is that, they've got behavioural economics. But AI was exactly designed for complex human change. Behaviour change is messy, but humans are often messier. AI can process longitudinal data, detect subtle behavioural shifts, and generate real-time dashboards to inform campaign adaptation. And I know they said we'd bring up data, all while humans are still deciding which survey platform to use. You know, will we go with the Qualtrics or some other platform? And unlike humans, AI doesn't massage results to suit a narrative. It doesn't get defensive when things go wrong. It tells the truth. That makes it a better evaluator. So let's just recap. We aren't arguing that AI has a soul. We're arguing that it has systems that outperform humans where it matters most, in design, delivery, and evaluation of behaviour change campaigns. Humans set the goals. AI gets us there faster, fairer, and more effectively. And for anyone still clinging to the human supremacy, remember, humans brought us Blockbuster, Fire Festival, and motivational posters that say, live, laugh, love, lunge, whatever you like to add in there, take your pick. AI brings evidence-based precision, feedback loops, and real change. So this debate isn't about whether humans matter, it's about whether humans alone are still the best tool for the job. And in behaviour change program design and evaluation, they're not. AI has already replaced them. We're just catching up. Across this debate, we've shown you that AI is not just a helpful tool, it's a replacement in the core functions of behaviour change design and evaluation. It outperforms humans in speed, scale, accuracy, and objectivity. It removes bias, predicts outcomes, and delivers results without needing a snack break, a brainstorming session, or a feel-good team retreat. This isn't science fiction, it's already happening. And to those still clinging to the clipboard, we're not saying humans are obsolete, just outpaced, so let's be real. At the end of the day, humans might dream it up, but if you want your behaviour change initiative to actually work, better let AI run the show. And if your behaviour change campaign still depends on gut instinct and good vibes, it's not a strategy, it's a horoscope. Vote affirmative. Thank you.
And now we have our final speaker, Carolyn, to wrap it up.
Thank you, Madam Chair, esteemed panel colleagues and audience. Well, the affirmative side, they've made a valiant effort. They've really tried, but they are dreaming. We do agree about being a lot of data, but I don't know about you. Looping back to this morning, all that makes me think about is being overwhelmed. And effectiveness, that's a great point to launch my speech. So AI tools may design a program, but will AI tools be able to design an effective program? We heard about bias in the aviation sector this morning. Current AI models are built on biased data. So the data and AI both have significant blind spots and biases. I can hear Ryan going, blah, blah, blah. Let's start with gender. 71% of the AI workforce are men and 29% women. Why does this matter? UN Women says AI systems currently learn from data that's filled with stereotypes, which reflect and reinforce gender biases. This in turn limits and negatively impacts decision-making and judgments. It's not just gender though. Research from King's College London found that due to biased AI programming, detection accuracy in autonomous vehicles is significantly lower for children and people of colour. Think about it. Driverless cars are 20% less accurate or less able to detect children compared to adults, and 7.5% less accurate in detecting people with dark-coloured skin versus light-coloured skin. Bias? In this example, the bias in the AI tools results in higher risks, poorer safety outcomes, and a potential existential threat. If AI is predominantly built by white males with white males in mind, as it currently is, then AI tools will be considering less than half the population in everything they do, from designing driverless cars to behaviour change programs. So in this context, how can behaviour change programs using AI be effective, let alone safe? On to the point of humans. Humans aren't data points. As we know in the room, behaviour change is messy, it's emotional, cultural, and often deeply personal. Trying to change behaviour using data points will fail, as human behaviour can't be whittled down to a formula. And context matters. Yes, we do agree that AI doesn't understand cultural nuance and misses subtleties, tone, trust, and what's not being said. Humans pick up on instinctively, and what works in one community may flop in another. Unless I'm mistaken, the core reason why people in this room undertake behaviour change is to improve quality of life for as many people as possible. We know from respected studies that social connection is a key driver of satisfaction and quality of life. The widely respected Harvard study of adult development, which has been running since 1938, demonstrates that social connections and close relationships, more than money and fame, are what keep people happy and mentally and physically healthy through their lives. Not AI, but humans inherently bring social connection. By talking about economics, cost savings, the opposition is missing the point. Enormous data points. The opposition is missing the point. Humans are messy, we don't always fit in boxes, and in the end, AI needs to serve humans, not the other way around. Which brings me to my slide. What are the ethics of AI? How comfortable are we to hand over control of such important work to the likes of Sam Altman and Elon Musk? Yuri Gal from the University of Sydney says, tech companies have a long history of questionable data practices. It's not difficult to imagine a scenario in which centralised control over many kinds of data would let OpenAI exert significant influence over people. Ethics isn't in the algorithm. AI doesn't have a moral compass, and nor, it seems, do the people behind our popular AI tools. Which leads me to my conspiracy theory. What if AI gathers all our data, turns on us, and encourages wars and Big Brother 1984-style autocratic control, all in the name of an Elon Musk, Donald Trump-style world takeover? Behaviour change, certainly, but is this the behaviour change we have in mind? To conclude, I turn to ChatGPT herself to ask the question, will AI replace humans in behaviour change campaigns? And even AI doesn't think they'll replace humans. AI says, while it can augment and enhance, what AI struggles with is empathy and trust, complex ethical judgment, and cultural nuance and lived experience. So in conclusion, AI may be a great tool for humans to use, but it cannot, should not, and will not ever replace humans in behaviour change programs and campaigns.
Well, everyone, what a stimulating journey we've taken. We've explored the potential of AI and reaffirmed the unique strengths of human understanding in the realm of behaviour change. It seems our intellectual dance-off has reached its final flourish, and now it's your turn to decide which perspective resonated most with you. So if you take your phones out, please vote on our Google form. We will then do our panel, and then I will reveal the winning side.
We're like, can we vote?
Yes, you can vote. Ah, see, technology wins.
We didn't vote.
Oh, you didn't? I don't have.
No.
Oh, okay. I won't vote either.
Yeah, we thought about it and we decided probably was.
Ethics.
Yeah.
Ethics. Done.
Imagine if we left AI just to make that decision. That little bit of negotiation and
Okay. So we'll now open it up for questions from the audience. I can ask our debaters to take off their team side for the time being and just be themselves for the panel, okay? And then we will come back for the winning team. Okay. Or if this is your true side, that is also fine too. Okay, so do we have questions or comments from the audience? Things that you're burning to know? Yes. Question down here. Sorry, can we just get you to repeat that for our online audience?
Panel discussion aside, I was just curious as to how everyone was using AI in their behavioural research at the moment.
Great.
Or
okay.
one tip that they could offer.
Well, I can kick off. I use it every day. But a caveat, I use it the same way I would use, it's like another member of the team. And it's like somebody sitting next to me, and instead of asking them something, I ask AI. And I ask it the tiniest little questions, like, oh, I can't remember the word for such and such, and it gives it to me. Or I might do things like copy and paste a whole entire literature review into AI and ask it to summarise it into the 10 most, 10 themes or something like that. And for that, it is fantastic. But I'm only using it for very small tasks, just like I would give out tasks to any team member. So yes, AI is a member of the team, but AI is not in any way, shape or form replacing the entire process or in terms of what we're doing for behaviour change. And I'm only, by the way, just another little caveat, I'm using our own Queensland Government very closed AI system, just need to say that.
Every word I said in the debate today, apart from my learned colleagues, was I asked ChatGPT to write it. I did not write one. I did not come up with any of the things that I said. Just putting it out there. I use it for as an employee, so to come up with templates to summarise things. It's really useful for summarising things, pulling out the key points. It's great for summarising meetings as an example. So if you're having a research meeting and you're discussing what you're going to do, it's really good at coming up with a task list or an action list. I use it for a range of things, and I have a colleague who will be running a workshop with Ryan tomorrow who has taught me a great deal about it. So if you're wanting to decide on a workshop tomorrow, attend Kate Leatheran's workshop, because she is an AI guru. We've even started naming our little AIs, but I use it as a personal assistant, and it really saves a lot of time, and it also can help you be objective, so it removes the emotion from things. But it did a really good job, I thought, of writing my debate talk today.
Oh, I've got this.
I was going to, shall I jump into? So we, I suppose, are a little bit cautious about AI, to be honest, in our business, and we're very aware, so I'm a practitioner, we're very aware that people are coming to us because of our specialist skills, and they are our clients can put a question into ChatGPT, they don't need us to do that. We use it, same as what Joy's just mentioned, for things like meeting summaries, and it's really helpful for that, and a lot of, if we're doing online interviews with clients, it's very helpful in transcriptions and summaries, but we use them as a tool, and we're trialling some software that's awesome, AI that helps analyse themes, but we're just we definitely use it, but we're very careful with it.
I was conscious. I started realizing that I'm the only guy and also the only person of my age demographic on the stage, so I feel like I'm a little bit different than these. I do use AI all the time, as my generation, I think, is prone to using any new tool or wanting to use every new tool for the benefits. But I also try and use, especially in social marketing campaigns, multiple different LLMs, so ChatGPT versus Gemini, and then showing how they have bias inside of them. So if I ask, my favorite one, and when you see Kate and I's presentation tomorrow, and Kate and I talk about this all the time, 2 people go to the gym, they meet each other, please write the next 150 words. ChatGPT, Sam Altman, him and his husband have programmed into ChatGPT that it's Terry and Kelly meet each other. They help each other to bench press, and they go for protein shakes afterwards. Amazing. Gender-neutral names going forward. If you ask Gemini, Marcus is bench pressing, and Sandra is doing yoga, but looking at Marcus gazingly across the gym. She flounces over to show Marcus in her tight yoga pants, and they stop working out, and he asks her, and anybody who does violence against women will recognize where this story is going. And that's Gemini's answer. I asked DeepSeek, which is a Chinese-based LLM that's emerging now. It's known for its rapid scale. And what I liked about it, and I shared with Rebekah, 2 people, gender fluid names, optimized to say, does this person bench as much as I do? I don't like them, I don't want them, but I need them to bench and make sure I am safe. I use them for a function. After my workout, I said thank you, and I moved away from them. Right? And so that's not answering your question of how I use it in social marketing or in influencing behaviors, but I wanted to make sure I highlight that anybody that does use ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, DeepSeek, Claude, Anthropic, Perplexity, they all have biases based on their training data, and so I try and recommend critical thinking about using multiple of them. Yeah.
Great. We have time for one more question or comment from the audience. Joan.
Very strong arguments on both sides, and extremely hard to decide who to vote for. But at the end of the day, people, is there some point in the middle? Do we concede that there could be some meeting of the minds between the affirmative and the negative team?
That's actually
Not
how I ended.
based on the current
Yeah. That's how I ended mine, is that humans set the GPS, but let the machine get me there. I think that you have to have human-centered design and actually humans thinking about the empathy and the aspect of what they're trying to accomplish, but then let an AI with those intentions, because it's not going to fall asleep, and it's going to make sure it accomplishes that goal. Setting the goal is the key part. That requires us. I'm pro-human as a human, but I think that letting an AI execute for me so I can sleep and watch cat videos and download pirated movies and all the other things that I need to do, I'll let it do them in the background.
Look, I kind of agree, but I am going to say no, emphatically, to the statement that we were debating today, which is AI tools are a replacement, and they just simply are not, and they are not replacing, not completely. And I also use AI. I think AI is going to be a tremendous tool, but it is not going to replace human beings, and it certainly hasn't already. So on the statement that we were debating, I have to say, technically, there's
Voting's
no way
closed,
you
right?
can win.
Voting is closed. This is after the debate time. Yeah.
Right. So, wrapping it up with all civility, let us now go to the results. Okay. So we have 11% who say, I don't know anymore. So thank you for your honesty. With a whopping 83%, we have people agreeing with no, AI tools are not a replacement for humans in designing and evaluating behaviour change programs. But maybe if we came back in 10 years' time and asked exactly the same question, we may get a very different response, dear audience.